Hi, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter from Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation Las Vegas Raiders Insider podcast here at the Indianapolis Convention Center. Um, I don't know if you get your pods early or if you like to watch them late. This is on Wednesday morning. I apologize. The internet is just horrible here. And so I apologize for the delay in getting up today's podcast. We're working on how to improve that for tomorrow. Wanted to give you some observations from yesterday. Got to talk to Tom Telesco a couple of times, got to talk to several head coaches and general managers. Make sure you're checking out all of our articles at si.com/NFL/Raiders. It was great. We got to talk to John Schneider, the general manager of the Seahawks, and I asked him about Patrick Graham, who was a very serious candidate for the job and almost got it. He came in second, and talked to him about Patrick Graham, and then got to talk to Raheem Morris of Atlanta Falcons, Dan Campbell of the Lions, and we talked to a bunch of people about Antonio Pierce, and then again got to spend probably 17, 18 minutes with Tom Telesco at the podium, and then he came down for another, I'm going to guess, 10, 12 minutes off podium, literally just with us regular beat writers who cover the team. I think Tom Telesco is great to talk to for a lot of different reasons. There are some people that when you talk to them, they don't want to tell you anything. So literally they'll just dance and dance and dance around something. If you've ever seen the movie Spies Like Us, you know what I'm talking about, people, how that they do that. Or if you've ever watched any politician of any political party, they don't want to answer something, they just dance around it. Telesco doesn't do that. He's extremely genuine. When he doesn't want to answer something, he'll just be like, yeah, I'm not going to address that. And then, but when he does, you have to listen to what he says and what he doesn't say. Now, last night, I got a chance to spend some time with several people from several different teams, good friends, on the phone, some of them in person, going to go out to lunch and going to go out to dinner tonight with some people, gathering information on the Raiders, what I'm hearing. And so I want to give you a lot of this inside information. So if you follow me on my exclusives, which are my 5-minute audio onlys, I've been telling you, well, I don't think it's 100% off the shelf. I don't see the Raiders doing anything for Justin Fields. I think that could change, but I don't see anything about it today changing. I think the odds are against it. I'd say 20% that they get Justin Fields. I can tell you there is a lot of people with the narrative of, well, of course they're not going to get him. Luke Getsy came from there and he wasn't good. Well, you can have any narrative that you want. I can assure you that there were scenarios in which Justin Fields would be a Raider. And if you just want to say, I don't believe that, that's fine, but it's not reality. So I don't think that will happen. I think the Raiders are definitely going to be looking at a lot of areas. I don't think Kirk Cousins is on the table. I don't think, Kirk or any other big free agent quarterback is on the table. I think at this point, they're resolute going to draft somebody and probably sign somebody to round out that quarterback room and have a competition. That said, I don't believe if I had to make a statement today, thought I had my glasses on, a statement today that the Raiders will be moving up to 1, 2, or 3. I don't think that's going to happen. Doesn't mean it can't, but I'm telling you, based on information that I've been able to gather, that cost is too high if you're not 100% certain of the guy you're going to go get. Telesco even said yesterday, you can never be 100% certain. And he's right. But that is something that is fascinating to me. It doesn't mean I don't think that they take a quarterback at 13, and it doesn't mean I don't think they take a quarterback at all. I'm just saying at this point right now, I think Chicago, if somebody offered them 3 1s and 3 2s, which is what it would cost to get that pick, I think would still take it. I say think now because I think they're really going through a juxtapose. Their locker room wants Justin Fields back. And I think there is immense pressure on management to go get a quarterback. Now, let me say this to you. You've heard me say that you cannot approach the NFL draft in fear. You got to approach it in total confidence. You see teams who make bad moves because of pressure. And to be successful in this league, you have to be somebody that understands the biggest pressure on me should come from me. And I'm not going to make moves based upon what other people want when they don't have as much skin in the game. So let me give you an example. If you're a fan and you love the Raiders and you're like, I don't care who, just move to number one and pick a quarterback. Okay, that's a fair opinion, and a lot of people have that opinion. If you're Tom Telesco and Antonio Pierce and you're not sure, you don't give up 3 1s and 3 2s. Not only do you cripple the franchise, but you're going to be gone. You're going to be gone. The only way that move works is like it happened in San Francisco, where people above John Lynch wanted Trey Lance, and they went and got Brock Purdy. And when Trey failed and Brock succeeded, they were okay because people above them knew we're the ones that pushed them. That's not going to be the case here. And so they are going to be very calculated. I know a lot of people have been critical of Telesco because he has not traded down as a general manager. I can tell you personally, he's more than willing to trade down. The problem is you don't just trade down to trade down. People have to pay you what something's worth. I'll give you an example. If I had a Corvette, say a beautiful, gorgeous Corvette that's worth 100 grand, and you decide you need to sell it, okay, and somebody comes along and offers you 10. Well, can you say, yeah, I didn't sell it, I didn't have any offers, even though that offer's not legitimate? It's 6 to 1, half dozen to the other. The point is he would like to trade, but he also knows the value of first rounds, second rounds, and you're going to have to pay the Raiders. They're not trading down just because, oh, gee, we get to trade down. We look smart. No, you got to trade down and make it worth my while. I believe the Raiders would like to trade down. If there's a lot of guys at 13 that I think they feel like they could move down a few slots, still grab a top-notch player worthy of a 13th pick. But if you pick up another second rounder, that makes a lot of sense. Now, I mean, if you pick up another first rounder and another second rounder, that makes complete sense. If you move from 13 to 20, so you drop 7 slots, but let's say you pick up a 2 and a 5. That's super valuable, especially in this draft where there's going to be a lot of overpicking and force some guys down. Now, I want to talk to you about a guy that I've been telling you about for weeks is rising up a lot of boards. The good teams already had him high on their board. And that is JJ McCarthy. We're going to be talking to him this week. Look forward to that, talking to him a lot about, what's happening and what's going on. This is a guy that really solidified himself when you put on the tape of the Alabama game. He was not asked by his team to throw a ton. And that's not on him. That's just the reality. So I think if some people approach his passing numbers, tapping the brakes a little bit, that's fair, totally fair. But when you look at him against the best competition, which Alabama had the best defensive backfield he faced all year, he shined. His ability to throw with accuracy, to throw while scrambling with accuracy are all tremendous. So I think that's very good. Last night, I was having a meeting with a couple of executives, and we were just talking about Bo Nix. Again, a lot of people really like Bo Nix, but there's a lot of legitimate questions. I laugh sometimes when people will say, well, look at this Senior Bowl or look at this whatever, and it's a practice session. Again, people are entitled to any opinion. I'm not God, and I don't really have an opinion. When I've watched Bo, I thought he looked good. I based my opinion on what I'm hearing from people in the draft, and there are a lot of concerns about mid and long range accuracy, that he throws a lot within the first 10 yards. And so that's fascinating. But one of the men said last night, he goes, I wouldn't be surprised if 6 and maybe 7 quarterbacks get in this. Obviously, Drake May, obviously, Caleb Williams, obviously, Jaden Daniels, obviously, JJ McCarthy. But then there's Penix, Bo Nix, that takes you to 6, and Spencer Rattler. Now, a lot of the teams that are good quarterback drafting teams draft at the end of the draft. And there's some intrigue with Spencer. I've talked to a couple of them. They don't think that right now he's worth a 1. But they also said, could he be? Could you go through this process and learn him and maybe come up with the opinion? Maybe. But there's going to be enough desperate teams. Let's say you're a team at 4 or 5 and you take a non-quarterback. Okay, then do you trade and move up to the bottom of the draft to take a Bo Nix? Because one of those teams would be willing to trade because they're at the bottom for a reason. If they say, man, we like Spencer, but we don't have a first round grade on him, sure, we'll let you jump up and take Spencer. And oh, by the way, give us a next year's 1 because you're not going to be good, or a couple of 2s. I guess it'd be probably could be 2 or 3 2s, depending on where they're at. Again, it's all semantics. And there's a lot going on here. I'm going to address a couple other things with you. The Raiders, which I've been telling you, confirmed my reporting that they are going to let Josh Jacobs. They're not going to franchise tag him, which is smart. They're going to look at him and see how this thing plays out. You know, what do they think his market value is? What does he think his market value is? I can tell you this. Both parties want to come together and want an agreement. They want that. But I also am going to tell you that Tom Telesco and Antonio Pierce, as much as they like Josh, and they do, that's totally truthful, they love Zamir White. They really like him. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you, oh, they like him more than Josh. I don't think that's the case. But Josh now is going into his 6th year. And his 4th year was his big money contract year when they franchised him, is the only season that he's been able to stay healthy. And the best ability is availability. So I think there is a lot of concern. How much money are we willing to put into Josh when he's proven he's not available all the time? Now, that's not a slam on him. He's a tremendous person. I love Josh. And he's a great player when he's healthy. But those are legitimate concerns. You put the money in the guys who produce the honey, the sweetness, the winning. And your best ability is availability. And so I think they're going to let them test them and realize what the market bears. Same thing with Jermaine Illuminor and Andre James. I would not. I've heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, they're not coming back." I wouldn't rule them out. I'm not saying they're shoo-ins. They may go test the market and say, "Okay, you know what? This is what the market says I'm worth, and that's what the Raiders are willing to pay me, and that's worth it to not have to move. I don't want to move just to move." And they already believe in Pierce. They already believe in everything. I know that Pierce and believes in James and believes in Illuminor, but it's going to be a situation of how do you gauge it. Now, Jermaine Illuminor is a lightning rod with Raider fans. The amount of vitriol spit at him is stunning to me. Is he the best right tackle in all of football? No. But is he a good one? Mm-hmm. And yep, he's had some bad games, like that first Charger game last year was terrible. And I think Jermaine would tell you that. I mean, I know that he didn't use the word terrible, but talked to me openly that he didn't think it was his best game by far. and I'm being nice because not going to, he play, but he's versatile, can play a bunch of different spots. He's a guy, a Swiss Army knife. I think you want to give him a deal. I think it behooves the Raiders to give Illuminor a 2-year deal with an option for a third. Okay. I think there's definite possibilities with Andre James. But there are also some other really good free agent linemen that may be a little younger or be a little cheaper. And I know this, Greg Van Roten, everybody loved him on the team. There was nobody on the team that didn't love Greg Van Roten. And he struggled early, but he came on super strong for the Raiders the last 2/3 of the season. And I know there's that they would like to have potentially a Greg Van Roten, but you got to look at who can I sign? Remember, I've talked to you before about the numbers game. So, okay, you really like an Andre James, but what about Brian Allen, who's out there, who was recently let go by the Rams? A very, very tremendously high functioning player, a good player, great locker room presence. Okay. And if you're going to pay the same money for Andre James as Brian Allen, what do you do there? I think you have to take a long, hard look at both. So the Raiders are doing that. And Tom Telesco yesterday really, in my opinion, really demonstrated kind of what you want, his experience, and being careful on how they're going to do things. I mean, the Raiders are in salary cap heaven. And I asked him about that and about, you're in such a good place. And he is. He goes, but he said something that I thought should be great news to Raider fans. But you still don't want to go overspend. You've got future guys you want to extend. And, you're going to have guys down the road you need to extend. Got to keep that cash in hand too. So I thought yesterday was tremendous for Tom Telesco, but I've always enjoyed talking to him. I think you need to, is he as engaging and entertaining as AP? No. But it doesn't mean he isn't less substantive, and it doesn't mean that he doesn't do things in a very, very good way. Now, I want to get to a couple other things. So today we're going to have a lot of defensive linemen and linebackers going to be talking. You're going to hear from a bunch of them. And I think it's going to be really good. We're trying to bring you the best information that we can bring to deliver it to you as fast and as quickly as we can. We're talking to him about the Raiders, Antonio Pierce, trying to get a lot of different perspectives. And I think that's important for you. You're not here. We are for you, and to bring you their voices. I thought it was really good yesterday. I talked to Raheem Morris, the coach of Atlanta, and about Antonio and Dan Campbell. And I like both of those men, both of them. Both of them really good coaches and very solid people. It was interesting listening to them talk about AP. It was interesting listening to John Schneider talk about Patrick Graham, who you guys all know I'm all in on Patrick Graham. I don't think he's a good coach. I think he's great. And I think he's going to be a head coach sooner rather than later. And the more people that engage with Patrick, the more people who really find him fascinating. I was told by somebody yesterday off the record, not off the record, because off the record means I can't report it, but anonymously, who's part of the Seahawks organization, that he just wowed him. And that if this coach does not work out, and it's relatively soon into the process, don't be shocked if the Seahawks went with Patrick Graham. That's how big of an impression he made. But I talked to Schneider, though, on the record. You can go watch that video. But a lot of great things happening here at the Combine. We're going to be disseminating to you massive amounts of information. So make sure you're checking out si.com/NFL/Raiders. Make sure you're checking out our YouTube channel, Las Vegas Raiders Insider, with Hondo Carpenter. and make sure that you're following us on IG. Very important, at Hondo SR, Hondo Senior, and on X, formerly known as Twitter, when you go to at Hondo Carpenter. So a lot of stuff going on here. A lot of information being out there. The quarterbacks, even though they're not working out till later in the week, are huge attention. Offensive linemen are getting huge attention. I think as this plays out, you're seeing something. And I want to, previously in an interview, and I would love to credit who it was with, but I don't remember. But it wasn't with me. But Antonio Pierce made a comment. I know what a championship football team looks like. You got to remember, he played on the Super Bowl team that whooped an undefeated Tom Brady. So he knows what that looks like. And what made that group special? Think about it. They had 4 rushers and 7 pass defenders. That is a legitimate way to beat a Patrick Mahomes. That's a legitimate way to beat a Patrick Mahomes. And so you certainly don't build your team with only Patrick Mahomes in mind, but you certainly have to keep him in mind. I will just say it. I fully expect at least 1 offensive lineman picked. Wouldn't shock me if they pick 2. Wouldn't shock me if they go get another defensive end. If there's a game changer on the board at 13 and there's not a game changer at another spot. I mean, Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama, Terrion Arnold from Alabama. By the way, the other day, Terrion Arnold in a private workout ran a 4.3 in a private workout. I know that from somebody who was in the workout. That guy just continues to demonstrate speed, and a lot of people believe he's better than Kool-Aid in an island situation, which is what Patrick Graham loves to run, is the island. Remember Revis Island or whatever? That he's better than Kool-Aid. I mean, I think it's 1A and 1B, but I'm just sharing with you. You got Nate Hobbs, you got Jack Jones. Then you go over and you throw one of those guys in there. It's pretty interesting. I do want you to know I talked to 2 people about Amik Robertson yesterday. I thought this was interesting. He's, a free agent. And I had a member of executive member of another NFL organization that said to me, "Tell me about Amik." And I told him, great kid, wonderful kid, great in the locker room. There's nothing about Amik that you don't like. Loved by his teammates. I think the Raiders would like to have him back, by the way. And I have a sneaking suspicion Amik Robertson's going to get a really nice deal. I don't know if it will fit into the financial parameters of the Raiders. They're going to be very studious and very careful. But I am going to tell you, Meek is going to make a lot of money, and good for him. Great kid. To the best of my knowledge, and if I'm wrong, I'm not lying. I've never met his family. I've met a lot of players' families, but I don't believe I've met his family. So I can say this to you with truthful, non-partisanship, which I know that's the wrong word. That guy was raised by good people, because there's just nobody that dislikes Amik. And being a good person, being a guy that's willing to be out in the community, being a hard worker, being a guy that shows up every day for work, being a guy that goes over and encourages people that are down, and then being a guy that is just a playmaker. That's why you make money in this league. So again, there is a lot of interest in Amik, and that doesn't surprise me. I found that fascinating. I think you want to keep an eye on Robert Spillane running into the last year of his deal. I don't know that the Raiders want him to be playing on a 1-year deal, because if he continues to play well, which we have no reason to think he won't, then you have to franchise him. If he says, "Hey, I'm willing to go out and test the market, who else is willing to pay me?" So I just keep that in mind. I think that's a fascinating thing to keep your eye on. So a lot of great stuff coming. In fact, in just a couple minutes, some of the players are going to begin to talk, so I need to go take care of all that. But I'm going to be talking to AP today. There will be no video of it. But I'm going to be talking to AP today. I know that I'll be writing a ton about after my conversation with Antonio Pierce today, a ton. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But we're going to be bringing you great information all week. Please keep clicking si.com/NFL/Raiders. Be checking out YouTube for all the videos. We're bringing you the podcast like we do every single day, and when internet allows it. But I just want you to hear from all of us to all of you. We are growing exponentially. It's because you guys are liking, sharing, subscribing. Please just take a second and do that. We keep all of our content 100% free. It's not going to, that's just what we do. And we do it for a reason, because we understand we want to get you the information fast. We want to get you quick. We put up a ton of video because I don't think that you people need me to tell you what Tom Telesco meant. Now, I can tell you what he said to me and how I interpret it. But one of the things I hate about modern media is, let's just use politics. Both sides of the aisle want to tell you what to think like you're a stupid minion. You're not, and I know that. Now, the other day on the podcast, I talked about people ripping me for an article Zeke wrote. And I did go off on that. I mean, be smart enough to read something before you comment. But you guys are smart, and that's why we're putting up all the video so you can see it, you can watch reactions, you can get your insight into what you think. I have no problem when you put in the comment section, hey, I disagree with you here. Okay, you don't have to apologize for that. I'm not God. But we're going to give you all the information from here on the ground. We'll give you some opinion, but we're going to give it to you so that you can take it, digest it, and then disseminate your thoughts. And we're going to keep doing that. So please like, please subscribe, please share, tell your friends about it. Like our Facebook, Las Vegas Raiders Insider, Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation, Las Vegas Raiders Insider on Facebook. Like all that stuff. Follow us on IG. Follow us on X. We got a lot of information for you. It's fun talking Raiders. And I'm going to tell you, there last night or yesterday when Tom Telesco talked, it was 8 deep, maybe 9 or 10 deep with media everywhere. And I was at dinner with some of my colleagues last night, and I think it was Vic Taffer, but may have been Vinny Bonsignor, made the comment, about that necessarily isn't probably what he was used to with the Chargers. But the Raiders are a different ball game. There's a lot of buzz around the NFL Combine about the Raiders. A lot of buzz. A lot of people talking about it. I've been coming to this Combine for a long, long time. It's my 5th as a Raider beat writer. And I can tell you, back before I was a Raider beat writer, all the way up until today, I've never heard the buzz around the Combine like you are about the Raiders. So y'all got the NFL's attention now for the right reasons. Oh, I forgot to tell you one thing. I probably had 10 people come up to me about my comments about Raiders Chiefs week 1. And these are other people who cover other teams or work for other teams that are all like, oh, yeah, that's got to happen. So come on, NFL. Opening weekend. The Las Vegas Raiders taking on the world champion Kansas City Chiefs and Arrowhead. Come on now. If that don't get your fire going, your wood's wet. I mean, if you're a football fan, if you just love football, you don't think folk going to turn into Raiders Chiefs opening weekend with all the comments, the pow, wham, woo. I love it. Man, this game is wonderful. What a wonderful game that we get to all enjoy together. So thank you for letting me enjoy it. Thank you for letting us give you that information. Like, subscribe, share, please, all of that. But from all of us here, be following it. We got 4 reporters here covering your Raiders. Got a lot more coming for you today. Have a great day. God bless you, everybody.